Hello, I'm Will. This is my local, that's my MA jacket. Funny thing about school bullying, between primary school and secondary school, it changes to a degree. At primary school, being bullied's quite a primal law of the jungle sort of thing. Big kid hits little kid runs off crying, big kid feels better about himself and the world turns on its axis. The thing is, when you get to about sort of 10, 11 years old, those big kids who thump you, they suddenly start thinking to themselves, that's not very nice to do that to someone. I could stop doing that and feel better about myself by being upgraded to gentle giant from bully, and no one will ever remember that I was a bully except for elephant memory fuckers like Wil Hodgson who remember every single dead leg and dead arm and window that was ever foisted upon them. But some people are proper bullies. Some people are nasty. Some people are bullies from the minute they twat another baby over the head with their rattle and take their rusks off of them in a playpen to the day they get sent down for 30 years for being part of a protection racket. Some people are fucking horrible. And the people like that, when they get to, sort of the boys like that, when they get to like 11, 12, they'll start thinking to themselves, we've been doing all this wrong. This wrong. Nosebleeds, clots, bruises go away, even bones if we break them heal. But they think to themselves, look at what the girls are doing to each other. They're just saying stuff to each other. It's just words, but they're causing deep psychological damage, stuff that will never heal. This is what we should be doing, gentlemen, they say to themselves. I mean, we run the risk of being called gay for doing something that girls are doing, but I think in the end it's worth it. And it's true. They're right. It's like you kind of wish you were getting dead legs and dead arms, because you're getting punched in your psyche, punched in your heart, in your soul, and it can fuck you up. But I was a outcast at secondary school for kind of different but similar reasons to primary school. When I was at primary school, I was the sort of kid who I cried easily. I still do cry easily. I bruised easily. I still do bruise easily. I don't like getting dirty, wet, pushed in muddy puddles, that kind of thing. I was the same back then. I was kind of indoorsy when everyone else was out doing outdoorsy things like climbing trees and getting electrocuted by substations, getting frisbees back, or getting their feet cut off by an intercity 125 walking across a railway line. I was just indoors reading books and stuff. So I was kind of the same at secondary school. Also, I was a rockabilly at secondary school. I was in my favourite films were Grease and Crybaby with Johnny Depp. I was trying to be like Johnny Depp. I looked more like fucking Ted Bobus out of Heidi High, but I was trying to look like Johnny Depp. I had a quiff, and I used to put that together with Brill cream, and I used to wear a biker jacket when I could. And outside of school, I just wore like a biker jacket, white t-shirt, Levi's, and Chuck Taylors. People think like, oh, that's really cool. It wasn't considered so at the time. This was the early 90s. This was the time of like Manchester and Bears Out the Happy Monday saying he wanted to kill all gay people and all that kind of came. Happy hardcore. I always think happy hardcore to me. I always think getting beaten up by someone with a peace symbol on their t-shirt. That's the legacy of happy hardcore to me. But the thing is, because the power of the bully is now not in the hands of not so much physical people, it's more kind of like psychological. It's more the cool kids that do it, people that are good at taking a piss, people that are just cruel rather than people that are tough or hard or whatever. So you become, I was an outcast because I was a rockabilly, and all of us that didn't fit in, we used to stand up by the bike shed at school. There was the bike shed and there was a tree and there was the driveway. We used to stand up there, but it was like, in my case, it was rockabilly guys, like fucking Elvis, whatever, Ponce, that sort of thing. He stands up there, but also you'd have like his dad's been inside. He stands up there, fucking Pikey. She got fingered when she was 30. She had a pregnancy scare, fucking slag. She stands up there. He's got eczema, stands up there. He's got homemade Guns N' Roses tattooed. He stands up there. So it's quite an eclectic mix of people. As many of you will end up in prison, as will end up working on computers and making money from IT and stuff. It's an odd thing. You see, like, if you see like a sort of hard-looking bloke with neck tattoo, sort of nodding at a bloke with a timid-looking bloke with a briefcase, then that's that kind of dynamic. Your enemy's enemy is your friend, and it might sound a bit dramatic me talking that way about school, but if not, I think what fucking secondary school did you go to that wasn't comparable to a war zone? But this is where, see, my favourite film was Grease at the time, and Grease is one of those, everyone's seen Grease, some people hate it, some people like it, I love it, but to me it's not a film about John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. It's a film. It's a Kenickie Rizzo film. It's I want to be Kenickie, not John Travolta. That's one of the things people used to like say. Elvis, John Travolta. I didn't want to be like them. I wanted to be Gene Vincent or Kenickie out of Greasy. Kenicky's a more authentic rockabilly. He was edgier, wasn't he? He was kind of like sort of. Now the bloke playing him was about fucking 70, wasn't he? Jeff Conaway. Someone told me a story, whether it's true or not, that he nearly stabbed Liam Gallagher at the Brit Awards because they invited him along, Jeff Conaway, and Liam Gallagher was giving all this sort of like, I'm gonna fucking pick on you because you're Kenickie out of Greece. And he carries a flick knife in real life allegedly, and he got his flick and I was like, hey you fucking bum, I'll stick you. Imagine if that's how Liam Gallagher had died, stabbed to death by Kenickie out of Greece. Anyway, the real reason I like Kenickie, I think, was because he was going out of Rizzo. See, fragile, easily frightened boys, what you want is strong women, tough women, sometimes women that frighten you just a little bit, but you kind of like, it's a weird thing, right? The boys sort of like hit you, sort of rough and tumble and stuff, and you don't like it, it makes you cry, whatever, but you kind of, it's, if you're like me, there comes a point you think I wouldn't mind so much if it was the girls doing it, or like breaking up both your legs and your arms and hospitalising you, but like just if they sort of pulled your hair a little bit, because when you're shy, when you're timid, you're fair game for things. When there's things like kiss chase, whatever, you're fair game for that. Sort of like women that are confident kind of want to flirt with you because it's partly because it's fun for them, I suppose, partly because they want to sort of humiliate you a bit. The thing is, kids, shy, timid, fragile kids, we actually quite like it. We're just too shy to admit it. When the second time this kiss chase, you don't run as fast as the first time. But Rizzo, I wanted to be my girlfriend because she'd look after me. Because no one would fuck you about if you'd gone out with Rizzo. No one, because she'd beat up or fucking stab anyone. It was tough. The pink lady's all kind of tough girls. There's the pink ladies, there's Rizzo in there, there's Frenchie, I fancied her as much. It was Jan, the one who goes brush up, and there's Marty, the one who gets off with Vince Fontaine, or not at the Phoebe, the next fucking Operation U-Tree, when he Vince Fontaine of American Bandstand, or whatever. I used to watch Grease all the time. I think I've been saying Olivia Newton-John didn't mean anything to me, but there's quite a good sapphic subtext in Grease. See, the tough girls, I bet the real tough girls, when I was at school down the brook, because me and my mate Steve, we fit in, my mate John and Mike Milano, I think as well, we figured out a way of cutting through the brook and getting out and going to Shoestrings, the chip shop. My mate Wade's chip shop, he's one of my good mates today, that's how I first met him. So we cut through, because I didn't like the canteen, they served shit in there, I don't like eating in front of people, so we thought we'd get out, there's a bit of fresh air and everything, so we used to go down, and that's where you'd see the tough girls down the brooks. They go down there to smoke, and they're kind of preceded by this big cloud of fag smoke kind of comes in before them, and there's the sort of sound of like lighters flicking and sort of cackling laughter and that sort of quite sort of sturdy girls. The blouses open right the way down, but you could see the middle bits of their bras. That was exciting then. I don't know what goes on at schools. Girls probably walk around fucking naked at school or whatever. I've got absolutely no idea. But that was exciting, the middle bit of the bra. It wasn't even the bit that contains any breast or anything, but you could see the middle bit of it. About 7 earrings in the ear, their mum's makeup on the highlights in the hair, about 17 fags on the go, big arms, big thighs, the skirts right the way up. I used to be terrified of them, but I was fascinated by them. I used to walk past, you'd walk past, they'd be like, so like, you're like bunking off, are you? And you'd be like, you just sort of like look at your feet and scuttle away and just lay in bed and drive yourself insane, fantasising about girls that terrified you. Not because you thought they'd pick on you, just you found them intimidating, but intensely sexual as well. Maybe that's why I watched Grease so much, because the pink ladies are kind of the ultimate of that, because they try the whole thing of them trying to corrupt Olivia Newton-John as well. I like that. It's a sort of Sapphism. This is the time of my life, right, when I was that sort of age, kind of 12, 13. This is when I first realised what lesbians were, apart from like an insight. I thought originally it's what the cool kids called any woman who had like short hair, or was like wasn't like a sort of classic Dolly Bird type fucking lesbian. She's not sucked us all off in a row, fucking dyke and that. When I found out that women could actually have sex with each other, it kind of, in fact, they say every bloke's turned on by it, but I like lesbians. And it's the same way that like skinheads like West Indian reggae musicians, or mods used to like the Four Tops, or like kids that are into British kids that are into hip hop, like sort of Snoop Dogg or whatever. It's like kind of, it's influential to me. It's kind of, I kind of idolise lesbians. Where if I'm not in Brighton, I'm at somewhere that's like I go to a lesbian bar, I look at what they're wearing and stuff, trying to incorporate into my wardrobe. It's I'm not standing claiming I'm just kind of speaking my mind here rather than like making generalisations or whatever and say what I think. But I kind of, all my fantasies are sapphic. Even now, really, I can't kind of, men don't really get into the equation at all. Maybe it's just I'm that much of a wallflower that I can't, because you should get a look in your own fantasies. I'm not even in most of them myself. It's usually girls doing stuff. Even then, because there's that thing in, is that the whole thing, Olivia Newton-John's the sort of virginal, white-clad, good girl, and they kind of lure her into being a pink lady, and they take her to Frenchie's, this is the thing, Frenchie's slumber party. It's my favourite scene in things. This thing ASMR that you can Google it, or this has gone on YouTube, so I'll put it into YouTube. You see what it is. It's that whole thing, because she was a beauty school dropout, and that I used to wear a lot of eyeliner and stuff, and I was a punk and like a glam rocker and that, and it's nothing nicer than a sort of like tough but soft woman, kind of like sort of doing your eyeliner, kind of like holding your face like that and doing your mascara and stuff. It kind of makes you buzz, right? It gets this warm glow feeling. It's different. It's kind of like ready breck with opium put in it. It just kind of, but you just kind of glow and smile and float a little bit. And that's what I get for watching that slumber party. They take sand in there, because the thing is, teenage boys, right, drive themselves insane imagining what goes on at teenage girls' sleepovers and slumber parties. Now, it's probably nothing goes on. It's probably just a lot of like jibber jabber about like sort of what's going on at school, and like reading fucking Just 17 or More magazine, or like Inserted magazine that's actually still in existence there. I don't really know anybody. I just used to read in the Iceland canteen. But it's in the imagination of your pubescent 12, 13-year-old boy. It's kind of like a wonderland of sapphic experimentation. There's like practicing kissing on each other, there's pillow fights, tickle fights, strip poker, breast comparison, labia comparison and stuff. This probably doesn't happen. I don't know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but you must never tell a teenage boy that. It'd be like telling him there's no Santa Claus, no Easter bunnies. Ann Summers Party's another one, isn't it? It's back when it was blacked out, before they went fucking mainstream, back when it was blacked out, like Ann Summers coffee mornings, probably a lot of women laughing at rubber penises. I know someone's an Ann Summers rep, and she's pretty much a laugh at rubber penises type, kind of suits her, but you kind of imagine suburban housewives and coffee, and they bring the toys out, these contraptions they've never seen before. So here he goes, the squirmy router and that, and they end up going at each other with these toys, and like it's writhing around in ecstasy. And then the next coffee morning is completely forgotten. It's like, yeah, well, the new Danny L. Steele book, and they'll be like, you brought me to a shuddering climax over the Danny L. Steele books and the coffee last week. We must never speak of it again. Don't go on, but you like to think that it does. And there's the Frenchie's slumber party thing. The fantasies. I kind of like, I used to imagine what was, because I've watched Grease since then. The fantasies kind of escalated. There's all got the whole thing of the initiations. They take Sandy there, they give her booze, and like, they make her smoke. They don't make her smoke. They offer her a fag, and she smokes. God, women who smoke, it don't do it for me now. But it used to. It's probably because I was a smoker. I used to smoke 60 a day, smoke like a fucking drain pipe, but I didn't used to. When I was a kid, I used to be smoking, used to be, it still is, the denoter in films of the bad girls. If you watch EastEnders, any woman in EastEnders who smokes, apart from Dot Cotton, will seduce a married man. It's girls that will lead you astray, girls that your mum wouldn't want you knocking about, girls that will lead you down a glorious, dizzyingly bad path to glorious, ecstatic ruin. And there's the thing that Frenchie pierces her ear as well. But I didn't even know what body piercing was, or think it could be like a clit or a nipple or something. There's still something about that kind of like, and the thing. It's kind of, even now the fantasy kind of persists. Sometimes it's me there as well, getting bundled in the back of the pink Cadillac and sort of driven around there, and get a Frenchie does your makeup a little bit, sort of like does like puts the lippy and that on and goes like, ah, you look gorgeous, hun, and you just get chucked in there. You're like the pet male, sort of like this male sort of transvestite lesbian rockabilly fucking conk. These tough girls that have got in the drawers. There's the sling, there's the teddy bears and stuff. It's probably like in the drawers, probably like a flick knife that one of their boyfriends stabbed a fucking copper with. It's like, hey, look after this, toots. What a dreamboat. And that tough girls, man. What I'm trying to say is fragile, timid, easily frightened boys do fantasise a great deal about being degraded just a little bit by strong women. I think that's a fair enough hypothesis. I should probably finish with part. That's kind of what I was gonna say on the subject. So yeah, cheers if you still got this on. You haven't like thought fuck this and watch something else. Thanks for listening to that, and I'll do another one somewhere. Cheers. Thanks.